So Priscilla, one of the things that I think CEOs often can think is culture is just kind of fluff. It's just fluff and stuff. Why is culture so important?
Oh yeah, so culture is so important because you can focus and energize an entire body of people if you're paying attention to the drivers that drive them. And that's what culture runs on. And culture is not something that just happens. It can happen, and whatever culture does happen will happen. But if you put the intentional effort into it as a CEO, you can create a culture where people are going to be dynamic, creative, intentional, and produce the results that you're expecting.
So one of the things 2 years ago when we sat here and talked about what are going to be our pillars for how we help guide CEOs to driving results, to having a focused team, having a plentiful market share, reducing their turnover. Can you help explain what those pillars are and why they're so important?
Absolutely. So if you look at the organization as a whole and you want to achieve results, you first start with aligning. We call it strategic alignment because it's getting everybody going in the same direction strategically from top to bottom. And it's not a one and done. It's a constant realigning and revisiting and making sure everybody's aligned. The second pillar was leadership focus, because we recognize that unless you have all leaders on the same page driving towards the goals together, you're going to be fractured and go in different directions. And then the third one, if you want to sustain change, is people systems. And people systems is how you gain understanding and awareness of what needs to be done to go in that strategic direction.
Well, and it's systematic things that you put in place, right? How are you rewarding? How are you recognizing? How are you promoting people? And what are you promoting them for? You were sharing with me about a conversation you had just this morning with the CEO and about how he's being very intentional and focusing on the leadership development of each of his leadership team members. Can you share a little bit about what kind of results he's seeing?
Yeah, it was powerful when he told me that he's looking at, over the year that we've been coaching, he recognizes that he is the leader that leads leaders. And in the past, he just focused on the results. And if they weren't getting the results, he'd be telling them to work harder, work faster, you figure it out, get it done. We need better margins. Now what he's looking at is each one of his direct reports, how they contribute to that bottom line and to the results, is how he's able to develop them and help them understand when they're not or when they are. He looks at how they're motivated. He deliberately develops them.
And one of the things that the sweet spot we've done with him is we help him to identify what are the motivations for each of his teammates.
Yeah.
And so he spends time thinking before each of his meetings, right? What is it? Oh, this person's motivated by this, and this is what they're trying to accomplish in their team.
Yeah.
And so how do I articulate this?
Yeah.
Right?
And what I love about it is that as we're coaching each member of that team, we're able to give him feedback that helps him to continue to grow them and continue to achieve those results.
Yeah.
It's powerful.
That's powerful. So, So with strategic alignment, leadership focus, and people systems, these three pillars, what would you say they most help CEOs accomplish?
I think they give them a roadmap that allows them to systematically focus the energy and the motivation of the people under him and drive it throughout the organization. Because once you get everybody in the leadership chain aligned and focused on what needs to be done, and it's articulated really well, then you're able to sustain it all the way down to the bottom. It's not about trying to get your employees to be happy and have good employee engagement. It's about really, truly engaging them to get the best results out of them and to watch your profit margins go up and watch the turnover go down, and your expenses are focused into where you really need it to be.
It sounds like it's anything but fluff.
Yeah, exactly. And we heard one leader tell us, how could I not invest in culture and in development when I see the results and the dividends that are paid?